Level 1. Alone in world. The silence is deafening. Cities lie in ruin, streets overgrown with weeds, and buildings crumble as if the earth itself has forgotten them. You are the last human, or so it seems. No voices, no signs of life, only the wind and the occasional distant groan of a collapsing structure. Loneliness presses on your chest, heavier than any hunger or thirst. Every day is a test of endurance, sanity, and determination. Your first challenge is basic survival. Food must be found, water purified, and shelter improvised from debris. You scavenge abandoned stores, hunt small animals, and learn to recognize plants that are safe to eat. Every mistake carries consequences. A spoiled meal, contaminated water, or a hidden predator could mean death. You quickly learn that the world no longer offers comfort, only lessons in adaptation. Memories of humanity haunt you. Streets you once walked with crowds are now empty. Laughter, conversation, and connection feel like distant echoes, but you cling to them. They remind you of what you fight to preserve. Not just your life, but the potential for civilization. Each day is a struggle between despair and the instinct to endure. You discover patterns in danger. Night is more perilous than day. Animals, natural hazards, and remnants of the old world are unpredictable. You learn to move silently, avoid unnecessary attention, and trust your instincts. Each success builds confidence, each failure a painful reminder of fragility. Survival is no longer instinct alone. It requires strategy, observation, and foresight. By the end of this stage, you have adapted to solitude. You can find food, water, and shelter consistently. You navigate ruined cities and wilderness with a growing sense of awareness. The weight of loneliness remains, but so does resilience. You are alone in the world, yet unbroken. Each step, each breath, is a quiet defiance of the emptiness around you. You have survived the first days of a life that may be eternal if you remain vigilant. Level 2. Survives dangers. The world is no longer just empty, it is hostile. Nature reclaims everything, and what was once familiar now threatens your survival. Collapsing buildings can bury you alive. Predators, both natural and mutated, lurk in shadows. Weather grows unpredictable, storms ripping through abandoned cities and forests alike. Every step is a risk, every moment a test of vigilance. Survival is no longer instinct, it is constant calculation. You begin to understand patterns. Water sources attract animals, both prey and predator. Food rots quickly without refrigeration, forcing quick decisions. Night is dangerous, but traveling during daylight exposes you to other threats. Unstable structures, sudden floods, and creatures that have adapted to hunt humans. Each encounter, each close call, sharpens your senses. Fear becomes a tool rather than a weakness. You adapt your movements. Silence becomes second nature. You walk on tips of toes over debris, avoiding creaking metal and shattered glass. Your eyes scan constantly. Every shadow could conceal danger, every sound a warning. You learn to read the subtle signs of life in the ruins. Footprints, claw marks, broken branches. Each clue informs your choices, keeping you one step ahead. Hunger, fatigue, and injury test your resilience. A sprained ankle could be deadly if you are far from shelter. A cut could become infected in hours. You improvise medicine from plants, fashion bandages from cloth, and set traps to protect yourself while you rest. Your mind is as much a weapon as your hands, and strategy often saves you more than strength. Every danger survived reinforces your confidence. You begin to experiment with movement, testing paths and exploring abandoned areas, always learning. With each risk, you understand more about this broken world and your capacity to endure. Solitude sharpens focus. Fear sharpens instincts. By the end of this stage, survival is no longer tentative. It is a skill honed to a razor's edge. You can anticipate threats, react with precision, and endure conditions that would have broken you before. The world remains a dangerous place, but you have begun to master it. You are no longer merely surviving. You are adapting, growing stronger, and preparing for challenges far greater than mere threats to life. Level 3. Learns to fight. Survival alone is no longer enough. The world demands strength, not just caution. Threats grow more cunning, more relentless, and you cannot always avoid them. Predators, mutated creatures, and remnants of humanity who have turned savage appear without warning. To endure, you must fight, and not merely with instinct, but with skill, strategy, and precision. You begin by observing. Each opponent teaches lessons if you watch carefully. How a predator strikes, how its weight shifts, how it anticipates movement. You replicate, practice, and test techniques in solitude. Stones become weapons. Sharp metal fragments become tools. You train your body, conditioning muscles for speed, agility, and endurance. Every encounter is a rehearsal for the next, each mistake a lesson etched into muscle memory. Combat is never simple. You learn to strike without hesitation, defend without overcommitting, and retreat when necessary. Fear is always present, but it is refined into focus. Panic becomes lethal, but calculation becomes survival. You improvise constantly, turning the environment into an advantage. Fallen beams, rubble, and shadows are all extensions of your strategy. Injuries teach you resilience. Every cut, scratch, or bruise becomes a reminder of mortality, sharpening caution and patience. You experiment with traps, lures, and ambushes, realizing that intelligence and preparation often win where brute force fails. You learn to anticipate movement, predict attacks, and exploit weaknesses. Victory is rarely swift. It is precise, methodical, and exhausting. By the end of this stage, your confidence has grown. You no longer flee every threat, nor do you act recklessly. Fighting is now a skill, honed by necessity, observation, and relentless practice. Each victory, no matter how small, reinforces your mastery. You are not merely surviving. You are asserting control, proving to the world and yourself that the last human is no longer defenseless. You have learned to fight, and with that power comes a growing sense of agency, strength, and determination to endure against even the most formidable dangers. Level 4. Masters. Survival months of solitude, danger, and constant vigilance have hardened you. You no longer merely survive. You thrive in the ruins of a world that once teemed with life. Every skill you have developed, scavenging, hunting, fighting, and reading the land, has coalesced into mastery. You move with confidence, knowing how to find food, water, and shelter even in the harshest conditions. Survival is no longer luck. It is deliberate, precise, and instinctive. You establish routines that maximize efficiency. Each day is carefully structured: scouting, foraging, fortifying, and training. You map the ruins in your mind, noting safe paths, hidden dangers, and useful resources. You can traverse forests, abandoned cities, and deserts with minimal risk, turning even the most hostile terrain into an ally. Nature, once indifferent, has become a puzzle you can solve. Your senses are sharpened beyond what they were before humanity vanished. The subtle rustle of leaves signals an approaching predator. The faint smell of decay indicates danger or opportunity. You can detect weather changes before storms strike, and you can distinguish between edible plants and deadly ones with confidence. The environment that once threatened you now bends to your observation and understanding. Combat and survival are intertwined. You set traps, prepare ambushes, and improvise weapons from your surroundings. Every fight is calculated. You no longer fight out of panic, but with precision and foresight. Awareness of both self and enemy allows you to turn overwhelming odds into manageable challenges. Each encounter strengthens both skill and resolve. By this stage, solitude has also refined your mind. You are patient, deliberate, and strategic. Every decision is weighed for consequences. Every risk is assessed for reward. You no longer fear the unknown because you can predict, adapt, and manipulate the world around you to survive. The ruins are no longer terrifying. They are your domain. By the end of level 4, mastery defines you. Hunger, danger, and fear still exist, but you face them as a skilled survivor rather than a desperate human. You have transformed from prey into predator, from wanderer into tactician, You are the last human, not merely enduring, but commanding, adapting, and ready for the challenges that lie ahead. Survival has become second nature, and the world has begun to bend to your skill, determination, and will. Level 5. Defeats hostile forces. The world has grown even more dangerous. Beyond natural hazards, remnants of humanity and mutated beasts now present organized threats. Raiders, scavenger gangs, and territorial predators challenge your dominance over the ruins. Survival alone is no longer sufficient. You must assert control, defend your territory, and eliminate threats before they destroy you. Each confrontation is a test of strategy as much as strength. You analyze patterns, anticipate attacks, and prepare traps or ambushes. Direct confrontation is risky. The most dangerous enemies exploit fear, chaos, and distraction. You strike with precision, choosing the right moment to act, exploiting weakness, and ensuring victory with minimal risk to yourself. The line between survival and domination becomes thin, and crossing it requires both intellect and courage. You become a force others respect or fear. Raiders who once prowled freely now avoid areas you control. Predators that stalk the ruins are driven away, trapped, or dispatched before they can strike. You improvise weapons, fortify positions, and leverage the environment to your advantage. Every victory reinforces confidence and signals that the last human is no longer prey, but the apex. Defeating hostile forces is more than combat. It is psychological. You learn to anticipate reactions, to manipulate fear, and to maintain control over chaos. Even when outnumbered or outmatched, strategy turns disadvantage into opportunity. The creatures and humans who underestimate you pay the price for their misjudgment. Each victory teaches patience, observation, and ruthless calculation. By the end of this stage, survival has expanded into authority. You control territory, dictate the terms of engagement, and respond to threats with mastery. The ruins no longer belong to chance. They belong to you. You have transformed from a lone survivor into a warrior capable of challenging, defeating, and dominating hostile forces. The world respects your presence, your skill, and your determination. You stand stronger, faster, and smarter than ever before. The last human is no longer simply enduring. He is enforcing, mastering, and preparing to lead. Every threat overcome sharpens your instincts and strategy. The horizon is no longer just survival. It is control, influence, and the potential to rebuild from the ashes. Level 6. Lead survivors. Victory over hostile forces has brought more than safety. It has drawn the attention of others. Scattered survivors, weary and desperate, begin to seek you out. Children, former soldiers, and lost families wander toward your territory, hoping for protection, guidance, and hope. You are no longer alone. You are a leader, responsible not only for yourself, but for the fragile lives that now depend on you. Leadership is complex. Each survivor has fears, weaknesses, and histories that shape their reactions. Some resist orders, others despair, and a few challenge your authority. You learn quickly that strength alone is insufficient. Compassion, patience, and clear communication are as vital as skill with a weapon. You must inspire trust while maintaining discipline, creating a balance that allows a small society to function amidst chaos. You organize survivors, assign roles, and establish routines. Food gathering, defense, medical care, and shelter maintenance all require coordination. Every person has a purpose, and every action contributes to the collective survival. You teach hunting, foraging, and combat, passing on the skills that once kept you alive. In doing so, you build not just a group, but a functioning community capable of thriving in a hostile world. Defense remains paramount. Raiders, mutated predators, and rival survivor groups still threaten your people. You plan fortifications, train guards, and anticipate attacks before they occur. Strategy extends beyond combat. It includes resource management, morale, and long-term planning. Leadership is now as much about foresight as it is about skill in battle. By the end of this stage, you have transformed from lone survivor to a true leader. You are not just a protector. You are a mentor, strategist, and symbol of hope. Those who follow you gain confidence, courage, and skills they would not have developed alone. The last human has become the first pillar of a new society, capable of defending, guiding, and inspiring others to survive where the world seems determined to destroy them. The weight of responsibility is heavy, but it no longer crushes you. Instead, it drives you to greater heights, preparing you for the ultimate challenge: to become a legendary savior, not only of yourself, but of humanity itself. Level 7. Legendary Savior. Years of survival, battle, and leadership culminate in this moment. You are no longer just a lone human or a protector of a few survivors. You are a legend. Your name spreads across the ruins, whispered by those you have saved, feared by the hostile forces that remain, and revered by all who seek hope in a broken world. You are the embodiment of resilience, courage, and the potential of humanity itself. Your influence extends beyond immediate survival. You establish permanent settlements, organize defenses, and train new generations in the arts of survival and combat. You innovate, adapting technology, architecture, and strategy to a world that has forgotten civilization. Your leadership inspires unity. Scattered groups come together under your guidance, forming a society capable of resisting danger and rebuilding what was lost. Hostile forces still challenge you, raiders, mutated beasts, and rogue survivors, but none can match your experience, skill, and strategy. Every battle you fight is precise, calculated, and decisive. You are both warrior and tactician, combining instinct, intelligence, and leadership. Victory is expected, yet never taken for granted, because you know that the cost of failure is immense. Beyond survival and combat, you nurture hope. Children grow under your protection, learning the history of humanity, the lessons of failure, and the power of courage. Communities flourish under your guidance, and even in a world scarred by devastation, life begins to take root again. Your legacy is not just in victories, but in the lives you save and the society you rebuild. By the end of this stage, you are more than human. You are a symbol. The last human has become the savior of humanity, a legend whose deeds will be remembered long after the ruins fade. You have mastered the world, defeated threats, led survivors, and created hope where none existed. Every scar, every loss, every triumph has forged you into the ultimate guardian of a fragile, reborn humanity. You look across the settlements, the forests, and the ruins you have tamed. For the first time, the world feels less like an adversary and more like a canvas. The journey is far from over, but now, for the first time, humanity has a chance. Not just to survive, but to thrive. You are the legendary savior, the last human who became the first hope for the future.